I remember Lainey Wilson coming to watch me at CMA Fest, couldn't get a CMA Fest play. And she goes, "You're going to be our first friend to ever have a hit." I remember having a record deal and writing songs with Luke Combs and him saying, "Man, how do you get a record deal? Nobody wants to play my music." And, I had a single out at the time. I'm like, "Dude, you're great. Like, it's going to work out." And obviously we can see how they have skyrocketed, and I've still had to build so much. I lost the deal. Their deals took longer to get, but when they got them, they were ready. And so, this Nashville roller coaster ride, it can really, if you let it, and I learned a lot during COVID, how to not let it get to me. But when you're here and everybody's just telling you like, "Yeah, man, yeah, play that. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the thing, dress like this, create your songs like that." And you're just, okay. And then all that goes away, and don't get me wrong. I have some major champions out there. Rusty Gaston has been my biggest believer, and he's been through it with me since day one, and some other people too, and great believers. But there's been this roller coaster ride of this high and then these lows of, well, Drew's been here. We don't want to sign him.
That's why I made the point that people forget how young you were when you started, right?
Yeah. And, I've been here 12 years, and I think I've went into other label meetings now that we've had some songs that kind of took off and on social media. And I felt like, and I could be wrong, maybe they just didn't like my music or like what I was doing, but I felt like, oh, Drew's been here. He's had the record deal. He's had the single go out to radio. He's had the booking agency. There's no reason for us to try to, do that again or give him a second chance. And I could be viewing this totally wrong, but that's the way that I have felt of people view me as almost damaged goods. And if I'm being honest, I mean, right. I know people are probably going to watch this. It is what it is, but
it's the Nashville truth.
Yeah.
I think the fact that and we're going to cut to the great part happening now, then I think also speaks to the changing climate of the music industry.
Yes.
That, like so many industries since COVID. And it was already changing before that, but COVID, I think, sped up what was already happening.
Lots of changes, lots of radio changes, as you know, and streaming and all these new ways of consuming music and how to be discovered. And all these paths has changed. And I think it's like that in any business. And, if it's not going your way and this is your dream in life and you're out here watching this, whatever, if it's music or whatever job that you're in, there's a couple things you can do, right? You can just say, screw it, I'm giving up and I'm going to, never do music again, or I'm never going to do this job again, or I'm never going to stay in it. I'm jaded. I'm peacing out, whatever. Or you can say, let me navigate. Let me figure out ways that I know God has instilled this drive in me and this talent and this ability to connect with people for some reason. And what is that reason? Why would I just give up on that? And it really, it took me to playing in people's backyards all across COVID and touring in a way that I don't know if anybody's ever seen, where I just gave up the ego and was like, hey, screw it, I'll play in your backyard.
I got chills because I do want to bring up God at some point for sure.
Yes.
But I also want to bring up ego because I just have had this conversation with somebody about letting go of that, because it is so easy to get wrapped up in when you are on that role in whatever job you're in or when you're riding high, and people making it your identity.
Yes.
I can relate in my own little world too. And letting go of that and saying, like, how am I going to be validated? Not by social media, not by, like, where am I going to find my validation? Certainly. And it sounds stupid and reductive, and people who are like really working for a living and don't deal with this stuff are probably like, you guys are idiots, but
it's true. I remember,
whatever.
I remember during COVID and having this, I don't know if it was identity crisis or, making this music. 2020 hits, I lose my record deal. I lose my booking deal. I lose my publishing deal at that time for a year. And I'm broken, right? I'm just hurt. And I moved here and I got everything so quick, and quickly it turned around so fast and everything was gone. And so I remember sitting at the bar in a Chinese restaurant, waiting on my food and to bring food to me and my wife. And I remember sitting in the bar and looking back into the kitchen and watching the guy cook my food. and just being like, wow, that is such a great life that he's living, because he doesn't think about this job as soon as he goes home for 24 hours a day. Like, all I could think about was music and this dream and how am I going to make this work? And I'd stay up. I'd be up at 3 a.m. And I talked to a lot of other creative people that feel that same way. You can't shut it off. It is what it is. It's in your brain. It's in your heart. You want to do it. You want to make it happen, and navigating those ways. And I envy the people like my brother that worked on the railroad, or whatever your job is. You're a teacher. You go home, you shut it off. Like, you get to spend time with your family, and you're not thinking in the back of your mind, oh man, what do I got to do to make this work, or navigate this of my life, or sing a song, or book a show, or whatever, what's going to get me to the next part. And I hate that I am wired that way, but I've tried really, really hard to balance that.
I feel like knowing you, I feel like you have, because it is finding that, how do I pursue this? Because it is ultimately a huge part of who you are, but it is what you do also. It's not completely who you are. Yeah.
And I think that's still hard, and I have conversations with my wife about it, and she definitely lets me know when I feel like she's a good one. She definitely lets me know when I'm putting, music first all the time. And she knows that, hey, there's times when music has to come first because it's our living and it's our job. But there's also times of, hey, I'm a new dad. I have an 8-month-old baby. Wow, time's flying. But an 8-month-old son that's at home, that needs my attention.
He's a nugget.
He is. He's a nugget.
He's
a
so
cutie.
Freaking cute. I just want to sop him up with a biscuit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's awesome. And I've learned a lot about that too. Of just like, our job is very, all the time and on the road a lot.
Right.
And now, I am literally, since I lost all those things, I lost my manager and my agent and my label. I'm all those things.
Which, right before we cracked open the mics for reels, we were talking about, like, that's, especially with the changing business, it's really good for you ultimately, because you get to keep it all and also just good for you to have hands on. I think, well, I'm not going to tell you why it's good for you. You should tell me why it's good for you.
Well, no. Well, I think, it's good to know all aspects of your business. I believe that. And I know there's artists out there that never had to worry about all aspects because it just happened so quickly. And it's great for them. I'm so happy with them. But for me, it didn't happen that quick. And I still, we're still in a dogfight. We're trying to get a song up the chart and still fighting hard for that. But also, a whole other segment is I still don't believe that chart success is still success in our business. But we can talk about that another time. But I just think, like, knowing everything of where your shows are booked, or how hard it is to book a show, or knowing how hard it is to make a decision that your manager would normally make on your behalf, or to put out that fire when there's a call coming in that this person's mad because this happened. Well, who do they talk to? They talk to me, and I have to figure out that fire. So knowing all those aspects of your job, whenever now, and hopefully, we'll see what happens. We still don't have an agent or a manager, but when those jobs come, I will know how difficult it is, and I can have some grace. Or I also, on the other side of it, I will know when crap's not getting done and it needs to get done, and I can say, hey, I did that way better.
Are you gonna have a meeting with yourself and kind of kick your own ass?
Yeah.
Listen, Drew,
freaking step it up.
Talk. You're gonna have to start putting in time cards.
Yes, exactly.
You want me to kick your ass? You want me to just be like, we'll just go through.
We can go, and we could sit here and make it happen for the whole podcast, probably.
Be like, I'm going to need a daily list of a recap of your day.
Yeah.
And then the top 5 things you learned at the end of the week.
There we go. Yeah. And I tell you what,
I could be a good manager.
You could, Kelly. You really could. And I do make those lists a little
wildly unemployed. So
no,
don't rule it out.
There you go.
All right. So you're alluding to some of the things that are happening right now, the dogfight. So you did take everything into your own hands because of this very special song you have right now, She's Somebody's Daughter. And before we get to that and what you're doing, talk about the label.
Yeah. So, in 2021, I got married. My wife, she's incredible.
Adorable too.
Yeah. And
I don't want to sop her up with a biscuit as much.
Yeah. And
she might get mad at me.
No, she's great.
She's adorable. I love her.
She is awesome.
She's a special one.
She is. And, I wrote this song, She's Somebody's Daughter, kind of soon as we started dating, met her dad, the whole thing, the story is obviously real. The whole song is based off of a message to myself to don't forget that, don't forget she's somebody's daughter. Don't mess up. Don't be an idiot. And I even have it engraved on our wedding ring. And we put this song out on social media, not really thinking much about it. The song has been out since, 2019, which is crazy. We put our first version out. We made this wedding version, and it just overnight, we were on our honeymoon. It got 10 million views on social media on one post.
It's a release. As the mother of 2 daughters, and as a daughter,
yeah,
it really does get you.
Well,
it's very special.
Well, thank you. And this song, so special to me, so special to my wife. That's why we did it. And it's been crazy to see how it means so much to other people. And now we're in such a new age where if you go stream an artist's music that is at a label, and I'm probably saying too much stuff here.
No, this is, again, the Nashville Truth. Okay. Say it all.
So if an artist is signed to a label, you go stream that song, or you play that song, you buy that song, 84% of that money is going to the label. And so the artist gets 16%, but 4 of the artist's 16% goes to their producer. So an artist is stuck with 12%, right? And so you stream it, you feel like you're supporting them, doing all the things, which you are in a great big way. I'm not saying that you're not, but most of that goes to the label because the label has a lot of funding and things to pay for and all that stuff. But in the new age with streaming, an artist can now make money without being on a label, which is like the best time to be an artist right now. You're seeing so many artists put out new music all the time. It's because they can fund their business. Well, this daughter song streams so much and still continues to stream so much.
What's it at now?
It's about 105 million streams right now.
Crazy.
And changed our lives. And it's streamed so much along with our other songs that now I can fund my own label, and I've hired my own staff, and we are trying to send this song to country radio. And it's really all because of the listeners and the fans have streamed it so much. That's right. It's all because of you guys. You guys have streamed this so much and have made this possible for me to fund to send this to radio.
That's
and
badass.
It's pretty special. And so,
but that's that connection that you have with fans.
Yeah.
That you have taken the time to nurture over the years.
Well,
that does make you more than just a TikTok sensation. And you know what I mean? I mean, not that there aren't great TikTok sensations. I'm not saying
no. And I think we go through that, for 10 years, all I did was tour the country, and I played in bars, and I played for 10 people. I've played for 50 people. I've played for thousands of people. But then TikTok comes along, or Facebook Reels, or any of these things, and they allow you to put out songs that give you a chance to be discovered,
which is great.
And it's a great tool. It's a great marketing tool, because before this, when I was those 10 years, I was traveling, I was beating up the road, I was playing for shows, hoping I'd come back and it would turn to 200 people, 400 people. Then all of a sudden I put this song out, and multiple songs, not just She's Somebody's Daughter, and I'm reaching millions of people from my truck, sitting in my truck or sitting in my house, and I'm reaching stadiums and stadiums and stadiums of people. And it continues to be stadiums and stadiums and stadiums of people through an app, where then it gives you validation of like, hey, the music I'm making is not stupid. It's worth something, because you go through this time in Nashville where you turn something in, or you go in, you're like, I don't know about this. And like, yeah, it's not good enough. Well, now that's all gone, because the people out there are literally the A&R. They decide what's good and what's not. And to be able to put a song out, it react, even because you love it and you see other people love it, well, then you can create more music and put it up on these platforms.
And the charts still matter. Radio still matters.
Oh, hugely. Yes, hugely.
Still very important.
Very, very important. And that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I have these conversations with radio all the time, is like, hey, I don't have to take this song to radio. I've, making money for my family, but I want to, because I believe in radio still so much that it can, as a streaming artist, and I could be wrong, but I feel like you can, right now, still today in country music, you can only get so far. But if you have radio support, radio's validation, where, as you coming on and taking, people know your name, and you say, hey, I like this guy. well, then all those people in that local area are going to say, well, we got to like the guy. We like, if they're, validating him on country radio, it puts a new stamp of approval on it that sends you to a new spot.
Well, I don't think what I love about radio, I don't think it's me, it's that radio is the last true live shared experience that is free.
Yeah.
Right? So
true.
So a lot of hardworking people who don't necessarily have time to subscribe or afford a bunch of apps or whatever.
Yeah.
Like in New York, you don't always have your phone. I mean, I use my phone. I don't always use radio, right? Yeah. I have my own playlist. I have my songs that I love, but there are businesses that rely on live local radio. There are fire trucks, in New York, the life to be on the air during COVID while firefighters and police officers and people who didn't have their phones, delivery drivers, right? They're in their trucks. They can't use their phone. So to me, this is why I think free live local terrestrial radio is still an area of discovery. Is it as huge as it used to be? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Is it a part of the puzzle? Yes.
Yes. I think it's, for artists, it's mostly the last piece of the puzzle, because like I told you earlier, we could have a whole other conversation about, you can still be successful as a streaming artist and you can have multiple streams. You can fund a lot of things. You can be a family man, all this stuff. But if you want to be, Tim McGraw, or if you want to be Kenny Chesney and have a career for years and years and years and years, for an artist like me, radio is still pivotal. Like, it is still the moment where you're driving along and your song comes on the radio. You're like, holy crap, my song is on the radio. You don't say, holy crap, my song is on Spotify. Like, you just don't.
Which in fairness, Spotify's bigger technically.
Yeah.
As far as ubiquity and reaching the whole country.
Yeah. But I think as an artist,
I got you.
You also, anybody can be on Spotify. All you got to do is upload a song for $1 on TuneCore.
Let's go back to who you want to be more, Tim McGraw or Kenny Chesney.
I don't know. They both got pretty good careers. I say those
too.
Yeah, yeah, that's true too. I definitely need to hit the gym. But
I was saying,
no.
That was you. That was your stuff.
That was my stuff. But like I'm saying is, those are guys that have had careers for 30, 40 years in our business. Yeah. And a big part of that is because they've had radio success. They've picked out great songs. They're not trying to write all their songs all the time. They're picking out great songs. And I think every young artist, I say young artist, but every artist thrives to have a career like one of those guys.
But who who do people say? Say, doesn't he look and sound like Luke Bryan?
I get it all the time. Yeah, all the time. And I haven't, I don't
Have you ever used it?
I've never used it. Literally.
He's like, hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all, this is Luke Bryan. No, literally this past weekend, we were in the Ozarks and not even playing a show, just sitting at the bar, ordering a drink with my wife. And the guy next to me goes, holy crap. I thought you were Luke Bryan. And I was like, yeah, I get that a lot. And then his wife was saying, he's like, hey, check it out. And he goes, I thought you looked, oh my gosh, you look so much like Luke Bryan. And Luke Bryan's wife, you're very pretty. You're very pretty. And I was like, oh my gosh.
You sound like that you were doing Luke Bryan there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I get it all the time. I have a lot of people tell me if Luke and Tim have a baby, it would be,
kind of a mixture. Right.
Yeah.
So right. If you worked out more.
If I worked out more, if I was in the gym.
But you're Illinois boy.
That's right. Yeah. Southern Illinois.
All right. So you got the daughter song, and what are you just trying to create songs where people just cry?
No.
Are you trying to cover every single wedding song?
No, so it's so funny.
I can't with it. Now you got the mom song.
Yeah. So these are the songs that I wrote for my wedding, pretty much. And so, because my wife had this thing that she wanted me to write all the songs, all the dance songs. So I wrote this song, Can She Have This Dance? So me and my mom could dance to it.
Stop it. Yeah. And
it's been, I didn't want to be the wedding guy. So I waited a year before I put this one out.
You're the wedding guy.
I know. And it's fine. So we put this Can She Have This Dance out a couple months ago, and it's been really special to watch all the mamas and even the boys, loving this song of just because I felt like there wasn't a song out there for me too.
There isn't a good mom son song.
Yeah, there wasn't. And so I thought that this song was 100% true to me and my mom, Mm-hmm. And so now seeing a lot of people use this as their wedding videos and sending me messages, I've even had as messages as far as, hey, thank you for this song. My son passed away and I'll never get this dance. And this is the way that I live this dance with my son through your song. And, that's the kind of stuff that the power of, that song's never been on radio or never done anything, but the power of social media, of touching all these people due to the success of some other songs. But it's fun to be able to reach people just by posting now compared to having to travel the country all the time.
If my son ever gets married, he'll probably want to do the hokey pokey or something stupid. He won't do anything.
That'd be amazing.
Like, all right, I'm doing the hokey pokey with my mom.
Yeah, the chicken dance. Exactly. There you go.
Something crazy like that. All right, I want to cover Lyric, your son.
Yes.
He's adorable.
Thank you so much.
How the name came up. I mean, you didn't want to do like vibrato or something.
No.
Think of other like
musical terms.
Chorus.
Yeah. It's kind of a name we had for a while, and
it could be. It's pretty genderless. Like it could have been a girl name.
Could have been a girl name. We talked about that, and I think what the coolest
part.
Kelly
and Drew.
There we go. Could be either one.
That's
yeah.
Right.
I think his name's Lyric. And I think the coolest part of it is his middle name, because we were like, hey, I asked my wife, I was like, I'd love for him to have a family name of some sort, and we were talking middle names. I was like, well, what's your dad's middle name? And she said Lee. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So his name is Lyric Lee Baldridge, which is like the coolest name on the planet.
Dad's middle name.
Lee. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Lyric Lee, which is cool.
You just got
that. Come on, keep up with us.
Could I be more blonde? Lyrically, that sounds great.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, Lyric.
Seriously, Lyrically?
Lyric Lee Baldridge. Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty
How are you
awesome.
going to top that when you have another kid?
No clue. I just know that the second kid is just going to be like
Jane.
Jane, yeah. Just Henry or whatever, nothing wrong with those names.
No,
but just
you've set the bar. So
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we've kicked around some other names. Obviously we're hoping to have another one. We'll probably wait a little bit longer because
no, she's pregnant right now, right?
No, she's not. No.
I was going to start a rumor.
And we are.
I was going to see if I can get it out of you.
There you go. No, she's not pregnant. I would tell you because man, we need a little break. It's need a little
8
breather.
Months. That's a break.
Yeah, he's still. I love him to death, but he's up a lot at night still, and we're hopefully after a year and a half. That's our goal. We're gonna
year and a half.
Year and a half. We're gonna start trying. I think.
Literally, I have to tell you, such a crowd. This reminds me. We waited. It's almost 3. My oldest had the second one.
Nice.
But he will never see this. This is the most embarrassing kid story. He'd just been potty trained, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the couch breastfeeding the newborn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Walks into the living room, looks at me, literally poops on the carpet right in front of me.
Oh, gosh.
Takes a big old crap.
There you go.
Like, I hate that baby.
Literally. Pay attention to me.
Poops on the carpet, walks out of the room.
Oh, gosh. That's hilarious. That's what we're going to have to deal. I already know Lyric is like, obviously, the center of attention, the center of the world.
The first one.
Yeah, I'm sure whenever we have to, when we have our second, when we have to do that.
Oh my God.
But
when we have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
God,
it's terrible.
It's horrible. If you would work out more, it wouldn't be so
it wouldn't be so bad. But no, when we have our second one, I'm sure that we're going to go through that. And it's also hard to think about, we love Lyric so much to have that same love for another one.
That's sweet. Like
to think about that.
Such a sweet thing that people with one child say.
It's a one child thing. Yeah. Right now it is.
No, but you genuinely do wonder, how could I love,
how could I love something as much as I love him right now?
Exactly. You'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it.
And then eventually they'll get older and you'll be like, oh, God slowly makes you understand. Please leave this house.
Yeah.
Please go get a job and leave this house.
That's so funny.
Birth order, too. I think that's why I believe really as birth order as an indicator of people's personality, if I believe in anything. Although we're both Leos. So
yes, we are.
I'm a big astrology person.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about you.
I wasn't always. Actually, my daughter is the one who got me into it.
Okay.
Low key.
So do you feel like Leos, so we're kind of fire, like you feel like, and we kind of like to be, doing what we're doing and playing music and,
centers of attention.
Yeah.
But also generous.
Okay. See, I don't know tons of this stuff. I just know what my wife has been into some of this stuff, and our friends.
Yes. What's her sign? I do this in every podcast.
She's a Leo too.
Oh, Leos love Leos.
Yeah. Yeah.
People non-Leos don't think people would love Leos because we think we can't share attention, but we love to shower attention. And
she's I wouldn't put her into like a normal Leo because she's so giving and so loving and so.
Oh, see, you've got that wrong.
Okay. See, I don't know enough about
ego
it.
Leo.
Yeah.
There's different types.
Okay.
You're a July Leo, which is
yeah. She's an August Leo.
Yeah. August what?
August 9th.
I'm August 17th. So. Okay. But see, she has generosity.
Oh, lots.
She's probably loyal AF.
Yeah. Right? And I'm the same way. Yeah, I'm super loyal when it comes to all that.
So loyalty, generosity, she's pride. She's very proud. So,
yeah. Very proud. Yeah.
Yeah.
All this stuff. You could give a whole lesson.
Well, just in Leos.
Just in Leos. Nobody else. See, that's a Leo thing, right?
I mean, only Leos.
Yeah. I don't know anybody else.
And people I'd be compatible with.
Yeah. There you go.
Duh.
That's amazing.
What is Lyric? June. I feel like
he's a December baby.
Oh, I should have done the math.
December 19th. Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah. December 19th. I didn't
get lyrically. How would I do the math on his age?
No, it's great.
Set good expectations here.
Yes.
All right. So we're out promoting the record. We want people to not only listen to it, but to
request it.
I want this person to do well, not only because he's a great person, but you are such an example of someone. You're going to do this whether you become Tim McGraw
or not,
or Kenny Chesney, or ever work out again. Clearly.
Yeah. No, I love what I do. And and I've had this talk with my wife too. It's like, no matter what I do, if it's on the biggest stage or if it's in, picking on a back porch and the ground that I grew up on in Southern Illinois, of the farming ground with cows in the background, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be playing my guitar. I'm going to be singing. So yeah, if you can request the song at country radio, that would be awesome. If there's any country radio friends out there that want to play the song, you can. If you need shows, you can do that, because that's obviously for the beginning of 2024. We're just focusing on this radio single. I mean, I'm focused on trying to get this up the chart, trying to play as many radio shows as we can, and just make this as a song funded by its own artist. You don't hear that very often. So I think it's pretty special.
We're going to end with God, but I just remembered that I do want to talk about you being a big brother to somebody in the business, that I was like, oh, plot twist here.
Yeah.
Like you and Lil Bailey.
Little Bailey Zimmerman. Yeah.
You co-wrote some songs with him, and have really taken him under your wing.
Yeah, right at the very beginning, we grew up in the same area, about 20 minutes from each other.
Illinois,
that's right. Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize he was from there.
Yeah, so he's from a little town called Louisville. I mean, I was older than him.
I'm from Louisville, yeah. So I don't want to.
It's spelled the same. But yeah, so his high school, my high school, played basketball and baseball against each other. He was a lot younger than I was. But a couple years ago, I got this message from somebody. It was like, hey, you ought to check out this kid. He's from your hometown area. He's got this song. I think people will like it. And so she must have sent it to me or something, or saw his name. And I, went on TikTok or something, and I looked it up and I listened to the song. I was like, hey, this is, he's got a cool tone in his voice. And I got to thinking, and I don't know what it was. It was just like, man, I wish I had somebody that took me under their wing. I remember when I first started, there were some people that I messaged here in Nashville and was like, hey, I'm moving to Nashville. Can you help me? And got nothing back. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to reach out to him. So I shot him a message on his Instagram, and I was like, hey, buddy, we're from the same hometown area. If you really want to do this, like if you see yourself going on and doing this, here's my number. Call me. And it was like 2 minutes later, I get a phone call. Hey man, what's going on? I can't believe we're on the phone. Like, I'm such a big fan. Like, this is awesome. Drew Baldridge, I got your number. You know Bailey. He's so pumped up all the time. I was like, dude, no, this is great. Like, I think you got a cool voice. If you really want to do this, let's get you down to Nashville. And like, try to write some songs and like figure this out and help you out where I can. And I remember at that time, he was like, yeah, dude, I really want to do this. And he's only been singing. That was his first song he ever wrote. He was only singing for a couple weeks. He put it up, and at that time, that song, the first song he ever wrote, got like 1 million streams. And so I brought him here. We wrote some songs. He produced some other songs, put them up, and he kept calling me. He's like, hey, I got a call from Warner. And I'll never forget the one call he called me. He's like, hey, I don't know what to do. I said, what do you mean? He said, so there's this manager, and we've talked about the manager. It was Simon and Chief, and that's his manager now. He's like, so Simon and Chief want to sign me. He said, but also Warner wants to sign me. I can't have a manager and a label, can I? I don't know what I'm doing. And I started laughing. I was like, yeah, buddy, that's exactly what you need. You need both of those things. And so,
oh, Angel.
Yeah. And I remember at that time I was calling around a bunch of friends like, hey, you need to check this kid out, maybe sign him. Like, people are really paying attention, and it's been really cool to watch him succeed in such a, I might say
same age as you. Like,
no.
I mean, when
same age.
Kind of rise.
Exactly. He was a little older when he moved here. But crazy to watch how fast it's went for him, like a rocket ship. And
crazy.
And I could safely say maybe one of the only ones in country music so far to have this kind of big blow up. And I just pray and hope. And he's a good kid. He is a good kid. He's a great kid.
I like him a lot.
And a great human. And I just pray and hope that he can continue to just keep having success that he's having, because I'm so happy for him. And, even when he's put this record out, he brought me in, set me down. We listened to the record with all the Spotify people. And he's just been very, very, he hasn't been like, oh, screw Drew. He's been like, hey, Drew's supported me since day one. And we have a good friendship.
Well, our mutual friend, Charlotte, I was like, I don't know where I saw your name on the co-write. I was like, well, holy shit, look at
oh her. Yeah. So we wrote a song together that's on his new album now. It's called Forget About You. And and we and
that's when she told me the story. She's like, no, he really took him under his wing. And
and I'm so happy for him. And he has another buddy named Gavin Lucas that came here and has written almost half of Bailey's life. And Gavin's from our hometown area, and Gavin's another really good friend of mine. And I'm just so happy for those boys and all the success that they've had. And I just actually, there's a new kid named Dylan Wolf, and Dylan grew up with Bailey and grew up with Gavin. I just signed him to a pub deal.
Oh, good.
Kind of opened our own little publishing wing and brought Dylan in with Riser House, which is great. House, and so we have a co-venture. We signed Dylan. Dylan's starting to create some new music. He's had, a little over 10 million streams on some songs. And so we kind of got our own little Illinois group that is exciting, because I never had that. And that's why I told Bailey and Gavin too. I was like, I never had that when I came here. I didn't have a lot of Illinois friends that moved here with me that we could I remember when I moved here, it was always like, you from Georgia? It's like, no. Oh, okay. Go the other way. Yeah, exactly. At that time it was Brett Eldridge. You're Brett, because Baldridge and Eldridge were so close. Yeah. And so I think like having that kind of Illinois connection just helps a lot of understanding each other. I'm sure that's why all the Georgia boys probably feel that same way too.
Well, and what if you had somebody like you in your life? But I'll bring it back around, and we will wrap it up with what role you think God may have played in all of that and bringing you together with him, and
totally
making it full circle.
And I was lucky. I grew up in a very godly home. My mom and dad, I grew up singing in church, but you don't really discover God until you go out and live your own life. I remember growing up in church and just being like, oh, I gotta go. Like, my mom and dad are making me. And for me, that was always a duty, and I feel like when I moved here and I didn't have anything, and I didn't have really any income or anything like that, it was on a dream. My connection with God got a lot closer, of just like talking more and being like, you know what, even like something like this song, sending it to radio, I try to not have fear, because I feel like God put this in my heart for a reason, and he wouldn't lead me or stray me down this path for something other than his will or his agenda. And I try to remember that across this path. And, even like my lowest of lows, he did that for a reason, because and now looking back, I know I wasn't ready for the highs of highs to come. And I knew like my my mind, my agenda, all the things that I wanted, I all the time. I knew at that moment, now looking back, I know that I was not prepared. I wasn't ready. If those things were to hit, where would I be? God probably knew I'd go down some path that I shouldn't gone down. But I just feel like, now I try to remember that everything happens for a reason, for his will. And, faith has been definitely a big part of my whole career, and also way more now than what it was at the beginning. And I try to remember all the time now, it's not about, Leo, me, and try to think, okay, I'm trying to make songs for people. And this is what God instilled in me for a reason. It's not for me to get glory. It's not for me to shine. And I try to remember that it's like, hey, songs like She's Somebody's Daughter, songs like Can She Have This Dance, songs like Big Prayers, these songs that I've been creating. And, we have up-tempo songs, which is fun, but these moments of life where people can relate, and I get messages, I need your music, I need this song. And that's what fulfills me.
Think about Leo this way too, though. Lion, courage, leader, all really important qualities to have.
Yes, very true.
Not just me.
Yeah.
You're leading right now.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for saying that. And, I think, going out on this limb and doing this whole label thing and everything, I just know that I try to remember he's at the helm of it, and try not to be scared or worried about what's to come.
Well, then he can have the job of kicking your ass every week.
There we go. Yeah.
I want a recap.
Yeah, Drew, get it done.
Anyway. All right. I'm starting this new because I've already done this in interviews. I don't know why I didn't do this. You're the first one to do this.
Oh, of course. Here we go.
Kelly's Cowboy Hat Confessions. And usually I write the questions, but I stole this from a game today. So you get to just pull one.
Okay. Love it.
Guess who gave me this hat?
Who was it?
Desmond Child, who's a really good friend of mine. And he is coming on the podcast, I think. Is it next? He might be next week.
It's a cool hat.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Right? It's so weathered, right?
It is. All right.
Drew Baldridge, what you got?
What am I most qualified to give advice about? Okay.
I didn't sound too confident. Okay.
I would say probably navigating Nashville of a young artist. Is probably something I feel like I've qualified for the last 10 years of being here. And that's one of the fun things about signing Dylan, a young act like Dylan Wolf, and helping.
Trying to recruit artists right now. He's
no. I mean,
say that if you're a young artist and you're listening to this podcast, I'm available.
No, I'm just saying, if you're out there and you have questions or you want help, I just I wish I had somebody to help me along the way. And if I have time, send me a DM and I'll, give you my 2 cents. But I do feel like out of all the things, that's probably something I'm pretty qualified for because I've just done it for so long.
1,000% teasing you. Of all the guests I've had on, honestly, you've given the most tangible, great advice. It's lovely.
Oh, good.
Lovely.
Good. I try not to make it too crazy, but
no, it wasn't too crazy at all.
Okay, good.
You've given the most truthful, amazing, and not that everybody else wasn't, but we've gotten to some real good nitty gritty.
Yeah. And I think you don't know this. What am I most qualified to give advice about until you don't have everybody doing everything for you, and you don't have the label pulling all the buttons, and you don't have the manager getting you on all the shows, and you don't have the getting the publisher getting you in the best rights all the time, which I do. I have a great publisher, but I'm just saying, you don't know that until all those go away. And then it's really, okay, I gotta figure this out on my own and how to navigate Nashville.
How do people follow you? This has been the most, I've kind of been we're just friends, but I've been anti-interview, but this has kind of been interviewee, but I've had so much fun.
No, this has been great. Thanks so much for having me.
How do people follow you?
So you can just go to Drew Baldridge Music on all Facebooks and Instagrams and TikToks.
And for your wedding, just use
look
all
up
his songs. What haven't you? You've got to come up with a bar mitzvah song now.
Yeah, there you go.
And whatever. You've got
a walkout wedding song or something. There we go. Follow me on all there, and you can go to drewbaldridgemusic.com.
You do need to do a walkout wedding song like da-da-da, da-da-da.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
What is your walkouts? What would your walkout song be?
Oh my goodness.
That would be mine. Yeah. What's your right now, like the song you're playing over and over again that's not country?
That's not
I want to
country.
tell you mine while you're thinking about it.
Holy smokes.
Mine is the new Dua Lipa, Paint the Town Red.
I haven't
She
even heard
samples that like, welcome by.
Okay. I need to check that one out. I haven't.
And then she goes deep bass.
Well, I think it's fun. Everybody doing these samples. You know, that's been a new thing, even in country music for the last year. Cole kind of started it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all these songs are kind of coming out of samples. And Chris Young just did Rebel Rebel on his new song. And there's a lot, you know, Jake Owen on a boat again. And it's
one of my favorite songs of the summer.
Yeah. And so a lot of people are doing these samples, and I haven't I think that's really cool and really fun. I haven't really had the chance to write any of those.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think of a song that's not really country.
You've been so busy doing your whole czar situation.
Yeah.
Like I can't, I simply don't have any time.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm not a big, and this
Outside
is probably
the genre. That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to drive along in my truck and crank something up, it's going to be Alan Jackson or
not even old
Brooks and Dunn.
school. Not even Bon Jovi or speaking of no.
I don't know. I mean, it's either 90s country or it's way out there of like
what?
Like,
oh, he's embarrassed. I love this.
No,
okay, what?
I love big band music of like funk, big band music. And as you can tell, my first single being Dance With You with the horns and all that stuff. I love that music.
That song.
And so like Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh yeah.
September. Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were going like da 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 like 1940s.
No, I mean like funk.
Okay.
Like that kind of Chicago.
Okay.
You know, that's kind of like my secret kind of love of music. And just like, if I'm going to sit and like really enjoy all the musicality, I'm going to go to the 70s and like the late 70s and listen to that kind of Hall & Oates and all that stuff.
God. Yeah. Oh, I got to interview Daryl Hall.
Did you?
No, John Oates.
John Oates. Okay.
Because he lived here for a while.
Yeah, he did. Yes.
And he was on Ty Kelly and
You're
Chuck.
a rich girl. I mean, I would jam that all the time.
Amazing.
Love that song. But yeah, that whole era of music I could listen to over and over again. I mean, when the band's on rides and we're all driving and we all pick songs, like go around and, hey, you're next, you're next. Mine is always going to be something of that genre.
Love that.
And if not, it's going to be Drive by Alan Jackson, probably.
That's great. By the way, you just said the name of your second child somewhere in that sentence, and this is how I'm going to end it, and you're going to laugh. So your son's name is Lyric Lee.
That's right. Yeah.
Your next child, who will be a girl, is Musicality.
Musicality. I love it. That's amazing.